Good morning. Welcome back to Conversations at the Corner. Today is November the 19th. Welcome to episode 46. Pastor Nathan, how are you today?
I'm doing all right.
Good. We are just a little over a week from Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And so here's the question of the day, kind of a fun one.
Okay.
What is your favorite Thanksgiving tradition?
I mean, the traditions I had growing up, I don't think were very unique.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were the regular Thanksgiving. You have turkey,
Yeah,
you have a big meal, and everybody hangs out, and that's great. So I guess I like the food.
Okay.
You and me are both from Michigan, so there's always a Detroit Lions game. But I will say, those are not necessarily a lot of happy memories.
Well, I really thought that's where you were going to go, and it would be like an easy decision. So you didn't say it right away. No. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
Yeah. Because and they typically would not win the Thanksgiving game, and so you're just like, okay, we're all going to gather around and watch the Lions get destroyed.
Yeah, something to be thankful for on this day.
So, but yeah, I think just the food is the main thing.
Okay, okay.
Nice.
All right. For me, it's Lions football.
Lions football.
It's a tradition. And you're right. There were many lean years. But I will tell you, I've been to Thanksgiving Day game a couple of different times.
Oh.
And I think I've been to, 5 or 6 games total, maybe 7. Not all Thanksgiving, but several Thanksgiving games, maybe 3.
Okay.
And I've only seen the Lions lose one time.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they've done a lot of losing over our lifetime, but in the games I've been to, it was the very first game. They played, it was a Thanksgiving, I think 96 or 97, and it was Kansas City, and they lost like 27-24. So it was a really close game.
Good game.
But every other game I've seen them play in person, they've won.
Interesting.
So, yeah, maybe they need to give me season tickets or something.
Maybe they're listening to this podcast.
Maybe they are.
I don't know.
They are. Hey, Brad Holmes, hook me up.
Yeah, and there was a time. Now it's gone away, and I think it's good that it's gone away. But there was a time where we used to do like, you know how they were doing Black Friday real early.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Like everybody was getting trampled for a while, and then the stores were like, "Well, we'll open really late on Thanksgiving, and then people can do that, and it won't be as crazy." So there was a time where Olivia likes Black Friday. I think it's fine. It's fun. So we would sometimes do that, like at 8:00 at night.
Okay.
By that time, everybody's had their food. You've hung out. You're tired of everybody. So Black Friday shopping.
I know Samantha and her sister, there were a few years, they would get up like at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning on Black Friday and go. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to stay here and sleep. I'll see you when you get home.
Yep.
But for some people, that is a Thanksgiving tradition. But we are very quickly approaching Thanksgiving, which is a phenomenal time of the year. So week 3 of not only November, but our series on wisdom.
Yep.
So I don't know if you want to do a recap or not, but what are we going to do today?
So if you haven't been listening all this month, we're talking about Proverbs. The first week, we just kind of talked about what a proverb is and maybe how we would approach reading that book. And then the second week, last week, we talked about why the book of Proverbs even exists. Like, what is it for? Mm-hmm. And kind of the cornerstone idea that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And so that's kind of like the ground or the foundation of all wisdom. So we kind of talked about that last week. This week, I really just want to talk and do some random Proverbs. And I think this is appropriate because a lot of the book of Proverbs is, in fact, quite random. Different subjects show up here and there. Laziness shows up, anger shows up. It's different things like that. How you use your words will show up quite a bit, but they're not ordered necessarily where like Proverbs 7 is all about anger.
Yeah.
And then Proverbs 10 is all about, whatever.
Intermingled kind of.
Yeah, it's all just random. It's a tossed salad of ideas. So what I thought I would do is just pick out some, and then we would just talk about them. And hopefully these are kind of fun. I don't know. Well, let's just see where we go.
All right, kick us off.
Here's the first one. I'm going to start with Proverbs 26, verse 17. Like one who grabs a stray dog by the ears is someone who rushes into a quarrel not their own. Okay.
All right.
When you hear this, you laughed.
I did.
So what's your first thought when you hear this proverb?
Well, my first thought is I'm just picturing somebody like running up to a stray dog and like the first thing is not talking to it or trying to find out if it's just grabbing it by the ears.
By the ears, yeah.
Which I would say I think is two unwords It's unsafe.
Yep.
And it's unwise.
Yeah, that's a pretty foolish thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, I'll even just go a step further and unpack this for everybody. When we think of dogs are domesticated animals. They're fluffy. They're cute.
Yep.
People own them. I have one. But at this point in history and in ancient Israel, dogs are dirty animals. You don't own them.
They're not pets.
Not pets. They're going to be strays. They're scavengers. You don't know what kind of diseases they might have. They are not safe. And I actually, when I lived in Bolivia, that was kind of the same thing. People didn't really own dogs, but there were a lot of stray dogs in some of the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And so you had to watch out for those dogs. And they travel in little packs and they would scavenge. And like you don't pet them. It's not like, oh, I want to see you fluffy. No, it's you stay away. So when we got like one who grabs a stray dog by the ears.
Yeah.
That's a bonehead.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Yeah. I will say this. I would have no fear of running up to Pastor Darren's dog, Scarlet, and grabbing Scarlet by the ears. She would just look at me.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't do that to her.
Probably not. Yeah. But Scarlet is extremely domesticated.
Yes, she is. Yes.
She's a good dog.
She is. Not a perfect dog. Yeah. Really.
So we get this comparison, and it's vivid, and it is pretty funny. It's like a crazy image. Who does that? Nobody does that. But the comparison is that's what someone who rushes into a quarrel that isn't their own, that's what you're like.
Yeah. You're unsafe and you're unwise.
You're unwise. Yep. Now, what's kind of cool that we talked about in the first week is that the Proverbs are not promises or they're not always guaranteed. So are there some times when you have to enter a quarrel that's not your own?
Yep.
There might be.
Yep.
There might be. And it's dangerous.
It is. Yep.
And you don't want to do it, but you don't rush into that.
Yeah.
Right?
What would you say would be an example of you doing that would be the appropriate time to do that?
Well, I think the easy answer for us is as pastors, there might be a quarrel that's between two people in the congregation.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily my quarrel, but as a pastor, I might want to enter into that and help them to work through it and do what they need to do. But I think for most people are not pastors. And so you gotta kind of have to watch out. Like the things you might watch out for is like, how well do you know these people?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like, what is the quarrel actually about?
Is it worth it? Yeah.
Is it worth it? Do I think I have the ability to help them? Do I know a pathway for them? All that type of stuff. But I think the key idea here is this idea of rushing into a quarrel. Sometimes people just like fighting and arguing, and this is saying that's not wise.
Yep.
Like the quarrels that are your own, they're your own, and you're going to have to deal with them. But don't get unnecessarily.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think some of these are really funny, and that's a fun one too. It's a great image. Let's do another one that I think has a fun image. This is 26:18 through 19. So this is just the next verse, next couple verses.
I love this one.
This one's funny too. Yeah. Like a maniac shooting flaming arrows of death is one who deceives their neighbor and says, I was only joking. Right? Like, what? Okay, so we got a maniac shooting flaming arrows of death. Have you ever encountered that in real life?
I've encountered some maniacs, but thankfully they were not shooting flaming arrows of death.
Arrows of death.
Or flaming arrows of anything.
A flaming arrow, yeah.
But the mental image that I have right now of a maniac shooting flaming arrows, forget of death, just a maniac. Yeah. A crazed, deranged person. Deranged is one of my new favorite words, by the way. I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
This deranged maniac shooting flaming arrows is hilarious to me.
And it is. So, like, if you were to encounter that, this is similar, I think, to the stray dog illustration. Like, that's not safe.
No.
You don't want to get anywhere near that.
It doesn't say like an expert Robin Hood shooting arrows. It says like a maniac.
Shooting flaming arrows of death.
Yeah.
Right? You want to stay away from that.
Yeah.
And so the comparison is someone who deceives their neighbor and says, I was only joking. Right? And so I've encountered people like this. Okay. And sometimes you even see it like in the political world a little bit once in a while,
yeah,
where someone will just say something outrageous and stupid or probably offensive,
Yep.
and they know that it is.
Yep.
And then they get called out on it, and then they go, oh, I was only joking, right? How can you be so offended at me, and ha, 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 ha. And what this proverb is saying is that the kind of person who does that, you stay away from that.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what they're up to. You don't know what they're doing. Like, they love to just provoke. They're not predictable. They're dangerous, right?
Yeah.
So you stay away.
They're a maniac.
They're a maniac. So let's throw this out here. If I were to say something and I was joking, and let's say you called me out and you said, Pastor Nathan, that you shouldn't be saying that. What would be an appropriate response that I might give if you called me out?
So let me ask you this. Am I calling you out as your boss, your pastor, or your friend?
Just
there's a difference.
Any of them. Well,
okay.
Let's just say friend.
Okay. I think
I said something to you that you did not like, and then you called me out.
I think probably the appropriate response would be, you're right, I'm sorry. Or even if you don't think I'm right and you think I'm being over emotional or oversensitive or whatever, the bottom line is I was offended or hurt or whatever. So you should probably say, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant.
Right. You might even say, like, I was joking, but I don't want you to be hurt.
Yeah.
And so that was not right. It's inappropriate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So the person that really cares about you and maybe offends you with a bad joke or a dumb joke, they can own up to that.
Yeah.
But the person who kind of just says, I say whatever I want, and I don't
Yeah.
take any responsibility for what I say, like, get away.
Yeah.
I think that's what this proverb is saying. You stay away from that person. All right. That was a fun one. Let's do 27-2.
Okay.
Let someone else praise you and not your own mouth, an outsider and not your own lips. Okay. I've got a really good example.
Oh, I do too, but you go first.
Oh, I wanted you to go first.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, I can.
Go ahead. You go.
Mine's from the world of sports. What's yours?
Mine is also from the world of sports. Let's see if we got the same one.
All right, here
Let's
it is.
see.
So, first of all, this is something that, as parents, again, like you work on with your kids. Like you want your kids to be confident. You want them to have self-worth, all of that. You want them to believe in themselves and all of those things. But you don't go around telling people, hey, I'm the greatest.
Right.
I'm the GOAT. I'm the
There's
best.
like a line between confidence and cockiness.
Right. And I don't even mind if you get close to that line. But ultimately, I want you to be humble.
Yeah.
But so anyway, okay. So here's
I think this is going to be what I had in mind.
Okay.
Go ahead.
not long ago. I don't like this guy at all. I'm just going to say that. But not long ago, LeBron James talked about how
It's the same one.
he was the greatest basketball player ever. And this is what I will say: LeBron is an all-time great.
Yeah.
He's truly an all-time great.
Yeah.
Probably top 3 to 5. Probably top 3.
Yeah.
Perhaps top 2.
He is in rarefied air.
For sure. And you look at all these stats, he's going to own all of these stats, all of that.
He is.
But he, of course, when he came out, he was called the Chosen One.
And the King.
The King James was his name. And those are cool nicknames and all that. I didn't like that he was kind of being put on this pedestal without him earning it. He's earned it now. Totally. Yeah.
And he handled that pedestal pretty well.
He did. He really did. But here's what I'm going to say. He's great.
Yeah.
But he's not the greatest of all time. Michael Jordan is. And here's what I love about Michael Jordan. Have you ever heard Michael Jordan say he's the greatest of all time?
Well, I haven't, but I've seen him imply that a few times.
But here's what I love about him.
Yeah.
He has said, because what I heard is somebody said that to him, and he said that's basically unfair to say because I didn't play in the same era as,
Right.
And he listed some of these other greats.
Right.
And he doesn't have to say that he's the greatest of all time.
Right.
Because everybody knows
Everybody
it.
knows it,
And everybody says it. And LeBron, he's self-proclaiming that he's the greatest of all. He's not.
And I think even if, there are some people, whether you agree with them or not, there's some people who do think he is, LeBron is the greatest.
Yeah. You're wrong, but you can think that.
But here's the thing. It's not even about whether you actually are or not.
Yeah.
It's about the idea that you shouldn't be promoting it yourself. You let other people say that.
Yep.
I remember when Tim Duncan retired, and he's not in that conversation of top 5.
No.
He's a great player.
Probably one of the best power forwards of all time, for sure.
And somebody mentioned something like that, like, oh, maybe you might be one of the top 10 basketball players of all time or something like that. And he kind of did a like, man, you got to be kidding me. Like, people are talking about me in the same breath as like Larry Bird, and he listed a bunch of players, you know. And that was kind of cool. Like, and the conversation about Tim Duncan over the next 10, 20 years, who knows where it'll go. But that attitude of like, oh man, I just feel kind of humbled to even be mentioned in that group of people. That's super cool. That was cool.
You know, what's kind of funny is the same kind of line is that obviously as Lions fans, we have this huge respect for Barry Sanders, who is my all-time favorite athlete. And I don't care what anybody says. I think he's the greatest running back ever, period. But Barry Sanders' dad, do you know what he told him?
He told him he's not as good as Jim Brown.
Yeah, no matter how great,
and over again,
you'll never be as good as Jim Brown. Yeah. Wow, what an amazing, maybe not amazing,
harsh dad,
but interesting thing. But you know what? He kept his kid humble, and Barry's probably the greatest humble
and one of the most humble
ever.
Athletes. Yeah,
but I thought it was funny. Like, no matter how great you are, you'll never be Jim Brown.
So let someone else praise you, and again, like sometimes that can be tough because we want praise, and maybe nobody's giving us the praise that we think we deserve, and so we can be tempted to take it upon ourselves. But it's always better if somebody else from the outside does it.
And the reality as Christians, if you say, "Hey, you're the best," whatever, pastor, teacher, preacher, whatever. The reality is, thank you for saying that. Thank you for believing that. But God gave me whatever gifts I have, and whatever glory and praise you're heaping on me really should be heaped on him.
Yeah.
Because I'm just a servant of his.
And I think that the sad thing is that when people self-promote, and LeBron is just a good example of this, I think very few people doubt that he is in the upper echelon of basketball players. So it was totally unnecessary.
Yeah,
it actually just probably hurt him
it probably
more than anything.
Did. Yep.
Okay, let's move on and let's do a couple of others here. 14:9. Fools mock at making amends for sin, but goodwill is found among the upright. I like this one, and I'll tell you why I like this one.
Okay.
In our society right now, I feel like in some quarters of our society, it's like bad to say you're sorry or that you did wrong. It's bad to admit a weakness. And this proverb here is saying, fools mock that. So the unwise will mock somebody when they try to make amends for a wrongdoing or a sin. And so we have the opposite advice now. Goodwill is found among the upright. So among those who are upright, they actually honor that. They say, okay, you did something wrong, and you're admitting it, and you acknowledge it, and that's a good thing. We honor that. I think just right now in our society, we have a real tough time. Sometimes apologies are forced. Sometimes they're fake. I get that. That happens. But we should want a society where people are encouraged to admit when they've done something wrong.
Well, and that's the foundation of Christianity. Like, you can't be a Christian unless you take that step to God of admitting, confessing, and repenting of your sins. And if you refuse to do that, you may know you're a sinner, but you're not going to be forgiven because you've not asked for it. You've not admitted it. Not repented of it. So I think it has really eternal ramifications too.
Yeah. And I think in public life, if I've done something wrong to someone, I might know that it's wrong, and maybe I'll decide I'm not going to do that thing again. But it does actually heal wounds when I say to that person, or maybe even make a public amends where I say, no, I gotta admit, and I gotta let them know that I did something wrong. It doesn't mean you're perfect or anything, but that's something to be encouraged. Let's do another couple. I don't know how much time we got right now, but that doesn't really matter. Let's look at 14, 20, and 21 back to back, because I think these are fun back to back. 20 is, the poor are shunned even by their neighbors, but the rich have many friends. Okay, it's probably a true enough observation, right? But 21 kind of digs in a little bit deeper. It is a sin to despise one's neighbor, but blessed is the one who is kind to the needy. So again, I kind of tipped my hand on this already. But the first one is a true general observation. Poor people are shunned, even by their neighbors, right? And the rich got a lot of friends. But the next verse tells us that that's not necessarily good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be true of our world, but it's not necessarily good.
Yeah.
And that not only is it not good, but it's a sin to despise your neighbor.
I really think, as I look at that, it's kind of the comparison of the flesh versus the spirit, the world versus Christianity. Like, this is true. How it's kind of like when Jesus says, "You've heard it said, but I say to you," like, yeah, this is true, but this is not the way to do it.
Right. Yep. And so sometimes the Proverbs can feel really random, but sometimes I think when you put them together, that's a really powerful couple of Proverbs squished together there. And I think it should really draw us to look at ourselves and say, well, is that how I am? Do I shun my poor neighbors? Maybe I do. And maybe I got to think about that. And maybe I got to realize that that's a sin. Maybe I just want to be around people who have some wealth, and I like that because then I get to swim in their pool and, whatever they,
get
whatever
the benefits of being friends with them.
I can be have benefits. Yeah. So, and this is just really overturning that. I think it should call us to reflect on ourselves. Okay. Let's give, here, let's do a fun one. 15:23. A person finds joy in giving an apt reply, and how good is a timely word.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to ask you, have you ever been in an argument with somebody, and then a day later, you're taking a shower or you're looking out the window, and you go, oh, why didn't I say that to them? Have you ever done that?
I can't think of a time, but yeah, I'm sure that I have.
Yeah.
Or even a fun conversation that would have been like a quick, witty reply.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, I should have said. So, yeah, I think kind of missing the opportunity, whatever the context would be. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh, and I have I go over the conversation. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Why didn't I say this? What, I could have done that, and I think this is one of those Proverbs that's a good example of one that it's not even really particularly religious. I think this applies to everybody. Everybody, when they're in a discussion or in a moment, it's fun to be quick-witted. It's fun to have a good, quick reply. Some of us are better than that at that than others, but it feels good when you get it right. When you have a good comeback, that was fun. So that's, and that's one of those where it's just a good observation.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't find that one, I feel bad saying this about the Bible, but I don't find that one particularly deep, but it's true.
Yeah.
And I think it's
nice good wisdom to live by.
Yep. Let's jump up here. 12:16. Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult. I think this is a good one.
Okay.
For society, for us today. I think and this is one of those, like, I struggle with the way that we talk about being offended sometimes in society, because there are times when offense is genuine. And it is okay to find offense in something. But also, sometimes I feel like we look to be offended. Or we're kind of like,
for sure.
We're kind of, they said that, And this really kind of tells us that prudence or right behavior, wisdom, patience would say, okay, there was an insult, or maybe even just a perceived insult.
Yeah. And
instead of just flipping out over it, you don't show your annoyance at once.
Yeah.
You overlook that.
Yeah.
Now, maybe this is one of those things where, like, the Proverbs are not always 100% guaranteed. Maybe there is an insult that you can't overlook. Maybe it does reach a point where you have to say something or respond in some way.
Yeah.
But in general, you don't want to live your life looking for insults.
Right. And there are people that do.
Yeah.
They're constantly fighting. None of their relationships last. They're constantly in strife. And part of it is that they're offended by everything.
Yeah.
And they're looking for fights. And
Yeah.
you know people like that. I know people like that.
Yeah.
And you just have to know that's how this person is. I'm not going to respond.
Yeah. And some of that, it goes back to this idea of wisdom and discernment. I might need to discern when an insult is serious enough that I might need to respond, or it might be justified to be offended by it. But I also need to discern when, okay, I didn't like that, but I'm going to roll along because I've got a life to live. Right? And I can't, fight every little battle. But fools show their annoyance at once. Now, this line I think is fun. I have seen people who they get annoyed really quickly. And even me, like, okay, I'll admit my children sometimes make me annoyed just once in a while.
Yeah.
And I'll get annoyed, and I have to watch out. I don't want to show that annoyance right away. Now, they might push me to the brink where I have to start saying, guys, young boys, you're pushing me too far, right? But you don't want to be the type of person that's flaring up right away. So that's a fun one. Okay, let me see if I have any other. Let's do one more, and then we'll close out.
Okay.
One of the things that you see in the Proverbs quite a bit, again, there's not like one dedicated chapter for it, but you'll see justice kind of pop up as a theme now and then. And here's a good one, 11:4. The Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him. So what does this mean?
I think this means that, like, when you go someplace like Gold's Gym and you weigh yourself and they've messed with the scales just so you'll work out harder, I think that's what that means. I think God doesn't like stuff like that. Dishonest scales.
That's not where I was going. And
okay.
I don't think they had a Gold's Gym back when Proverbs was written.
Jerusalem's Gym. The Jerusalem Gym.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. This probably refers mostly to the market.
Yeah.
People going in and weighing. Maybe they're weighing the eggs they got from a chicken. Maybe they're weighing the barley that they harvested. Maybe they're weighing some gold or whatever. And a merchant could have a scale that favors himself.
He's cheating people. He's robbing people.
Yep, he's robbing
Stealing from them.
Yep. And so that one of the things that's cool about this passage, there's lots of passages like this, but sometimes when we think of theft, we think of, like, a guy who breaks into someplace,
ski mask, and
and that's true. That's bad. But this is just a much more sophisticated way of stealing from somebody, and
less violent.
Yep, less violent.
Yep.
But the Lord detests it.
Yeah.
He says, no, that's disgusting. We don't want that. Honest weights. He likes that.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't necessarily have a whole lot more to say about this, other than I just wanted to highlight the fact that it was probably super commonplace for people to have dishonest scales.
Well, it must have been because he put it in his word.
There you go.
But this was fun. We just kind of picked, or you picked, just kind of random ones for us to talk about and go through. And some of them were funny, some of them were serious, but all of them point to wisdom for us to live by. So, Pastor Nathan, thank you very much. Anything else you want to add to that before we close out?
Nope, I feel good.
All right. Well, why don't you pray for our people before we let them go?
Sure. Heavenly Father, thank you for this book of Proverbs. The truths in Proverbs are sometimes hard to figure out. Sometimes they're funny. Sometimes they're sophisticated and rich. Sometimes they're very commonplace. My prayer is that those who are listening to this podcast would live by wisdom, that we would live by the wisdom in Proverbs, that we would be people who discern, people who have prudence and patience, people who know how to tell right from wrong and choose the good paths in life. We pray that your Holy Spirit would guide us in this. Help us to grow. Help us to seek after wisdom. Sometimes we don't. Help us to seek after learning. Help us to seek after maturity. We love you, Lord, and we thank you in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Nathan. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week, same time, same channel. Keep rolling, Emmanuel.